This was supposed to be a quick job until I got to the vise and my part didn't fit into it. Instead of starting over and wasting a ton of money, I made a $10 tool that saved the job, and I learned a lesson that could save you hundreds on future orders. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. A little backstory on this one. Some of you might remember these brackets from a previous order that I cut out a few weeks ago. It was actually the largest order that I've ever had, and everything went super smooth until today. The customer brought these back for some rework, but it wasn't my fault. Or was it? These brackets are meant to screw onto the end of a wood board to make a shelf. Pretty straightforward. The customer gave me a list of dimensions and hole placements, and we ran with it. All 71 of them. Between the two of us though, we missed something big. I'm not a woodworker by trade, but I have dabbled in it, like with this epoxy river desk I made a while back. It had a similar connection set up to these brackets, except for one key difference: slots. Wood doesn't behave like steel. It's more like your girlfriend when it's that time of the month. Doesn't quite know what she wants, feelings all over the place, and in other words, expansion and contraction. So in this analogy, your girlfriend is the wood and you're the fastener. And when things start shifting, it's best to give her some space. Let her breathe. You see where I'm going with this? These brackets needed a slot to let the wood move without splitting or pulling any of the screws. The big point here is to not become complacent. When I first got the design requirements, a little voice in the back of my head told me something was off, but I thought this is what the customer wants. Who am I to tell them otherwise? Only after the fact did it click. This is something I see all the time in my day job as an engineer. Customers send drawings in that won't actually work for their application. And instead of just making the part, I'm playing customer service, going back and forth explaining why it won't work and how to fix it. This happens with multi-million-dollar companies too. Customers don't always think their designs through 100%. If you don't ask questions, what's this going into? How will it be used? You'll miss design flaws that cost money down the road. When you catch those problems up front, you save them time, money, and you build a trust. I didn't catch it this time, but I'm sharing it so you can. Remember, ask the question. Once I knew the problem, I had to decide how to fix it fast. With the 2-day lead time, I had 3 options. 1, cut all new parts. 2, try recutting slots in the old parts on my CNC plasma cutter. 3, throw them in the mill. Cutting new parts was way too expensive for me or the customer. And the plasma option, it would have been a lot faster, but getting these to line up perfectly would be super inconsistent. The slot placement would be all over the place. So that leaves us with one option: the mill. The mill gave me the best quality and the most control. But that's where the next problem came in. Parts were way too big for my current vise setup. So I did a little thinking and decided it was time to make a custom jaw extension. I took some quick measurements, hit up the CAD software, and had the first piece cut within minutes. The only problem was it didn't fit. What's that old saying? Cut twice, measure once? Well, hell, I say we should be cutting 3 times and measuring twice. I literally just did the same exact thing. What the hell? I'm so confused right now. Yeah, I'm not proud of that. But to be fair, I was freaking out a bit that I may not be able to get this job done in time. 3rd time's the charm though. The blank fit perfectly around the outside of the vise. Perfect. Last step before I could start reworking the parts was to drill and tap a few holes so I could actually mount the jaw to the back of the vise. This was the vise that came with the machine when I bought it, so that's what I've been using. It's not really the best. I would rather be using a 6-inch Kurt vise, then I wouldn't have to even worry about this in the first place. But those are just a wee bit more expensive, so I'm making do with what I have for now. Alright, time to make some holes for the jaw extension. First things first, I had to swap out the mill tool for a Jacob's chuck. Then I had to crank the knee down to make room for it. I swear, half the time running a mill is just moving stuff up and down. It's really not that difficult. Next up, I laid out my drill and tap pair along with some thread cutting oil. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that dry tapping is the fastest way to turn good steel into expensive scrap. So here's the process. Drill the hole, countersink it, then tap it. And yes, that order matters. If you try to tap before countersinking, you're just asking for burrs that'll ruin your threads. Drilling went pretty smooth, nothing exciting, which is exactly how you want it. And finally, tapping, my least favorite part. I've snapped enough taps in my life that I get flashbacks every time I touch one. You know that sound? Dink! That's the sound of your hopes and dreams dying halfway down a hole. So now I go super slow, oil it up, quarter turn it, half turn back, and repeat. Basically, I baby it like it's made out of glass, which means I get to sleep easy tonight without nightmares of digging broken steel out of brand new parts. Just like that, we have a few drilled and tapped holes. And to be honest, I haven't had a part of a job be this easy for a long time. So the mental break was really nice, but it all comes down to the moment of truth. Will these now fit? Wow, if that wasn't anticlimactic, I don't know what is. Yeah, they fit. Now that they fit, we could finally start the rework. Just ignore the unbearded turkey in the top right corner. For the setup process, since I don't have a center finder, I'm just using the end mill to come in to kiss the back edge of that, and then I'm going to set that as my 0 point. This is a 1/4 inch end mill, so when I go to set my 0, I just have to basically divide that in half, 1/8 inch, and then I know I'm at true 0. From there, I'm just going to take the dimensions from the CAD file and move in to that back center slot. Since this was the first one, I took it kind of slow, but it ended up turning out really, really close to what it should have been originally. And since this is just going into a piece of wood, it's fine. If you could imagine, after the first one, it was just a lot of rinse and repeat. And since the milling process is kind of slow, especially on my small-ish machine, it got pretty boring. So that night, I did as many as I physically could. Mind you, I was doing this after I got home from my full-time day job as an engineer. So it was probably around 6-ish o'clock when I started. And I maybe got through like 25 of these before I had to go to bed, which is at 8. Yes, 8 o'clock, I know. But you know what that means. Since this job was due the next day, I had to figure out a way how to get these done. And what I did off camera was amazing. I trained a nurse how to operate a mill. I know, crazy, right? But in all seriousness, Natalie did finish these parts up for me, and all I had to do when I got back was deburr them. So I'm super thankful for that. But now that this job is coming to an end, remember guys, ask these questions up front. The phrase, "the customer is always right," can be thrown in the trash can. We need to learn how to work together to get the best possible outcome for both us and our customers. That's how we build loyalty and get more jobs. Thanks for watching. See you next time. If you guys made it to the end of the video and you got some value out of this, I would really appreciate a like and or subscribe. If you have a small business or enjoy watching content like this, check out some of my other videos.